Yeah. Raising the Tobagos, we growing like fresh tomatoes. Them boys on fire, tu fuego, we pass it round hot potato. Everything is nuevo, I'm with my sweetie like Quavo. Need my cheese, need that queso, need my bread, need that bankroll. Wake up, yes Lord, I'm thankful, another day on my schedule. Steady blocking the devil, I tell a hater, God bless you. Cherish moments that special, you gotta keep the memento. If you love me, then I love you, and I could never forget you. Some memories don't speak, how you walk, how you blink, how you talk, how you teach, how you reach, let it sink.
What's your purpose? What's your passion? Did it pain? What's your plan? Is it plane? On a plane? How'd you play? I'm just playing. What's your purpose? What's your passion? Did it pain? What's your plan? Is it plane? On a plane? How'd you play? I'm just playing.
Good afternoon, Washington, D.C., Facebook, Instagram, whoever's watching on social media. This is Earl Rush with the Straight Up Talk show with Earl Rush, and this evening I have the pleasure of a special guest of a long time friend. You know her as Frederic Salsa. I call her Sylvia, but everyone else calls her Frederic Salsa. So I spoke with Sylvia earlier today, and we tried to track down exactly where it was we met, and we kind of cut down, try to get the years straight. And I've known Sylvia since the Cecilia days, when Cecilia's, before it was the salsa room at TSR. We met and hung out there, and remember, the floor was black and white at the time. Now, I didn't go out to Cecilia's until my third year of salsa dancing, and I started at 39. And I met Sylvia my third year into salsa, which means I'm 42. I was 42. I'm going on 65. That means I've known Sylvia for over 23 years. Such a long time for a great friendship. The thing I loved about her, I was telling her earlier, she's always treated me very nice. She's never was nasty to me. She would always dance with me, always smile with me, and always make me feel welcome. Well, little did I know that later on in life, she would turn out to become a pillar of the salsa community in the DMV and one of the big honchos as far as having events in Frederick, Maryland. So without further ado, we're going to catch up with my friend of over 23 years, Miss Sylvia, a.k.a. Frederic Salsa. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes, señorita. ¿Cómo estás?
Buenas tardes, Mr. Earl. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing very well. I'm excited, Sylvia. I normally am not nervous, but I guess it's because of you, and I've known you such a long time. And you're such a lovely young lady. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm sure that we will get through this. But I took some advice from you earlier today, and I normally don't even drink. But I have some wine here, and I hope you have some. I just wanted to toast each other for over 23 years of friendship here.
Absolutely.
All right. Salud.
Friendship, salud, ching ching.
Okay, so Sylvia, my interviews are pretty straightforward because I'm not the smartest person. So we try to keep things simple here. I start from the beginning, and then we go up to current time. So, first of all, I would like to know, where are you from and where did you grow up?
Okay, so I am from Peru. I am, my father is from the mountains of Peru, Ayacucho. My mother is from the northern part of Peru, which is Chiclayo. And I was living in Peru up until I was 5 years old. And at that ripe age of 5 years old, I came to the US with my parents and my brother and sister. I also have another brother that lives in France. And I've been here in this country ever since. I feel like this is my home. Even though I'm Peruvian 100%,
Right.
the USA is my home and I love it here.
Okay, well, I spoke with Jimmy Rumba a couple of weeks ago, the living legend Jimmy Rumba. He's from Peru, and he gave me the story. I asked him, I said, Jimmy, because we used to go out salsa dancing, even though I didn't know why. Everybody would say "chi boom," and then everyone would say "kaya." So he gave me the history on that, and so no need for me to ask you that because I already know why people say that. So okay, and our good friend, our mutual friend Cecilia Villalobos is also from Peru. But I was telling Jimmy, and I don't like the stereotype. I know a lot of women from Peru that are excellent salsa dancers here, but I don't want that doesn't mean anything one way or the other. It's just an observation that I made. So we're here. Where did you first live when you moved from Peru to the United States? Was it Frederick? Was it D.C.? Was it California? Where did you first live when you first moved?
I came straight to Maryland because I had an uncle here. My father's cousin lived in Potomac, Maryland, so we came to Potomac, Maryland, and that's where I grew up for my whole childhood up until I graduated high school. So yes.
Okay. Where did you go to high school out there?
I went to Churchill High School.
I had a couple of ladies that were crazy about me out in Churchill.
I'm sure you have ladies crazy about you everywhere, Earl. Not just
and when I was growing up, they used to have very good football team. Is that nickname the Bulldogs or something?
Bulldogs, that's right.
See, I can't make that up. Yeah, that's good stuff. So you were growing up. So as a child, what were some of the things that you liked to do? What were some of your hobbies?
So what I liked to do was pretend I was a kung fu master. I grew up watching kung fu theater, waking up Saturday, Sunday mornings to watch Kung Fu Masterpiece Theater. So I always thought I would grow up and be a kung fu master. That was my childhood dream.
Okay.
But instead, my parents stuck me in ballet. So what can you do?
Oh, okay. So you took some ballet. Okay. Right. All right. That sounds good. So when you were growing up, were they playing? What type of music was in your household when you were growing up?
In my household, my parents played so much Peruvian folkloric music, which includes marinera, which is very strong from where my mom is from. And then we had a lot of huayno and huaylas from where my dad is from, Ayacucho. So I grew up listening to a lot of Peruvian folkloric music, and also just anything Peruvian was heard in my house. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, even though people don't know, it seems like you're such a leader. You're kind of like an introvert kind of way, but you still, it's kind of oxymoron. You're an introvert, but you still get along well with people. So were you shy in high school and junior high school, or were you outgoing?
I was outgoing with certain people, and it's the same to this day. Some people that I'll meet that know me from certain activities will describe me completely different from other people that know me from different activities. So just the same way when I was in high school, or any time in school, I was a jokester. So to some people, always cracking the jokes. I think I'm still the jokester in my family. Mm-hmm. But definitely to other people, I'm definitely known as the shy person and more introvert.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, when did salsa and bachata come into your life? Because as I said, I met you at Cecilia's back in the day, and you were a very, very young lady. So when did you decide to start to go out salsa dancing? Because back then we didn't even play bachata at the club.
That's right. So this is a long time ago. But even though Latin music has always been in my family's life, you grow up hearing salsa, merengue, you go to the family parties, everyone's playing salsa, merengue. Later on, there was bachata. But for me, what made me want to just completely be immersed in the whole salsa world, taking lessons and doing all that, was one time I was in DC and I was eating my dinner with a group of girlfriends, and they paused the music, the background music, and out came Cecilia Villalobos to do a performance with her partner, and they just blew my socks off. I could not believe what I had just watched. And I thought, what did they just dance? You know, who is this person? Does she teach lessons? I was just completely enamored with that whole dance, and which was salsa, was what they were performing. And ever since then, I started taking lessons. I would take lessons from Cecilia. I took lessons from just different instructors around the DMV. And it was just an amazing journey that started from that night, being just completely enamored with what Cecilia and her partner put out in that venue.
Okay. And so obviously you've been dancing for a long time. So obviously, was that probably the night that you got hooked on it? I mean, hooked on it?
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, that was a night that I got hooked, and Cecilia Villalobos is to blame.
Okay.
That was the start of my salsa addiction. What is, you know, what we consider a salsa addiction, because like I said, we do grow up listening to Latin music, but that was what made me want to just take lessons and be completely immersed in that salsa world.
Okay. All right. So we're in high school. We graduated from Churchill.
Yes.
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs.
All right. So take us on a tour from what you did from there.
Yeah. So I got married at an early age. I was only 22 when I got married, 23 when I had my first son, Juan Carlos, and then I had Christian shortly after. And it was just, I loved it. I loved raising my sons. It was just so amazing. I was very fortunate to spend so much time during their early years. Later on, I started working, but it's just, I wouldn't change anything other than just, you know, don't worry about having the house so clean. Just spend so much time with your kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're working now. Are we still in Potomac, or have we moved to Frederick by then?
Actually, I moved back to Peru at that point. After Potomac, I moved to Peru for a little bit, and I was working there, studying there. And I don't know if people remember, but back then, the cholera, that was a big illness back then. So I got that. My mom freaked out, and she brought me back from Peru back to the States. And so that's when I began my family. I started my family when I came back from Peru.
Okay.
While I was living in Peru, I was having a blast dancing and not just studying, but also working and dancing. It was so fun. So fun.
Yeah. And they have a big salsa scene in Peru as well, correct?
Yeah, it's a lot of timba. Cuban salsa is huge in Peru. Let me take that back. Cuban salsa is huge in Lima. Where I was spending a lot of time was in Callao at that time with my cousins. And that is not so big on Cuban salsa, but it's more just like Jerry Rivera and Frankie Ruiz and a lot of Puerto Rican salsa. So I definitely got a lot of salsa time in Peru.
Okay. All right. So do you dance Casino Ladder?
I don't. And I know Cedric Teamer was teaching in Frederick, so I was completely enamored with that dance as well when he was teaching in Frederick.
Mhm.
And we had him come out to teach a few times, and then we went and supported him in Baltimore. So I would love to get back into it. It's amazing.
Right.
It's so different from what we dance normally, just,
Right.
our
I,
TSR venues.
I love Casino Radar, and we have, as you said, there's Cedric Teamer,
Yeah,
Saoko here, and you got
well, definitely. Yeah.
DP Casanero. So we have like some of the three best instructors in the country, maybe if not in the world, some of the best teaching. The problem with me is I can't remember the calls. I have a photographic memory, but my short term memory is completely gone for whatever reasons. I couldn't remember.
Maybe it's the wine.
Well, I don't know. I think if I really, really got into it, I think the problem is I can't be like Ernesto or Jimmy, or I can't be like Adrian or Cedric. And so if I can't really excel in something, then I don't like to do it. But
Okay.
I'm sure I can eventually learn it. But who knows how long we're going to be here? So I have to enjoy myself while I'm here and do the things that I know that I like to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we're working. We're back in our family. We're back in Frederick. So when you moved back from Peru, you went to Frederick then, correct?
I went to what?
When you came back from Peru after being sick, then you came back and started your family over. Did you move back to Potomac or you moved back to Frederick?
At that time, I shortly moved back to Potomac with my parents, but something about my childhood is that I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh,
So after experiencing all the freedom in Peru, living on my own, and then coming back with my parents and saying, "Oh, well, you need to be back home at 8 p.m." That was not going to fly anymore. After you taste a little bit of freedom, it's like, okay, when someone wants to take it away from you again, it's like, no, it doesn't work. So shortly after moving back to the States, I had to live back on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You had to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
Right. And all this time, you've just been dancing salsa. It's like you've been dancing salsa over 20 years, Sylvia. That's crazy.
It is. It's crazy. I mean, but I can't imagine my life actually before dancing salsa anymore. It's just so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I haven't danced since March, but I do a little bit of shines at home or something, but I'm not.
Yeah, I've seen you break out into your shines on video, so I know you're still dancing.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but I'm not going to go out. But we're going to touch on the COVID a little later. We don't want to go into that quite just yet, and we won't spend that much time on it anyway.
Okay.
But we will touch on it. All right. So we're working and everything. What made you decide to become a Latin events promoter?
It wasn't that I decided. It was almost like it just happened by accident almost. My very good friend, Aaron Ferrufino, at that time was living in Frederick, and he wanted to start up a salsa scene in Frederick, but there weren't many Latinos back then in Frederick. So it was meeting in a restaurant and hooking an iPod to a couple of speakers, and maybe it was 10 regulars that would come every week. So it was maybe a total of 15 people. And it wasn't until he moved from Frederick to somewhere else that I had to kind of step up and take over. And I decided to hire a DJ at that time. And so I was hiring a DJ. It was no longer an iPod with speakers. And so Facebook came along, social media, Meetup came along, and in order for the group to grow and me to be able to pay the DJ, because I've always been a strong believer that you don't stop paying the DJ because not enough people come through the door. I'm going to pay the DJ no matter what. And so a verbal agreement is gold to me. And so if I bring in a DJ, I'm going to pay the DJ no matter what.
Right.
And so I better make sure that people know about this event and bring them to the event. And so that's how it happened. It just happened organically, naturally, and 12 years later, here I am.
So basically, to put it in a nutshell, you had an addiction. Your supplier was leaving, and you had to create your own salsa drug because you was just, I can't go on without having a dance.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. That's the way to describe it.
And so I guess it's safe to say that you had no idea you would go from wondering whether you would be able to have enough money to cover your losses on DJs to the last time I went to one of the events out, I don't know if it was a holiday event, it was an anniversary or what. I'm not exaggerating because I don't exaggerate with numbers. There were over 350 people jammed in this hotel playing to a live band. So I guess it's safe to say you had no idea that it would grow from that to that, correct?
Yeah. That the event that you're talking about was at Clarion Inn Hotel. And yes, that was a really good event. If I remember correctly, we had a live band, and so we grew into being able to provide enough money, not just for the DJ, but for a live band, which speaks volumes of how the Frederick community has grown, the salsa community has grown in Frederick, which is amazing. Yeah.
So, you and I, we're hardcore salseros, and I guess you're successful, so you had to evolve. But what were your feelings about when all of a sudden, when Leo Higuito and all these guys made bachata prominent in the city? Okay, sorry. That's how it is when you live in the city.
What do I think about bachata coming?
How did you feel about it now becoming like mainstream here in the area? What were your thoughts on it?
I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. So thank you, Lee Gringuito. Thank you so much, David Norton. Thank you so much to everybody who brought it, not just brought it, but brought it strong. Yes, there were the old school salsa people that were against it, but I embraced it. And it's such an infectious rhythm, and it's such a sensual dance, or it can be a sensual dance, right. Because I don't want to get reprimanded by old school bachateros, which is traditional bachata, but I love both. I love traditional bachata, the Dominican traditional bachata, and I love the sensual bachata. And I make no apologies, actually, because I think music is an art form. Dance is an art form. Music evolves. Dance evolves. Maybe we can call it something different other than sensual bachata and have the bachata word included. Maybe we can change that up. But it's a dance, and music and dance evolve all the time. And if we don't evolve along, then we just kind of I don't know, shrivel up and get grumpy with it. I don't know, but I love salsa. I love Cuban salsa. I love salsa on one, salsa on two. I love bachata, traditional bachata. I love sensual bachata. And now we have things like zouk and kizomba coming along, urban kizomba, which evolves from kizomba. So it's just never ending. And I love it all. I love it all.
Okay. You Well, you had mentioned the meetup, and I know you made a lot of friends in the meetup, like Kathy Freeman and Liz Strong. What are your thoughts on the meetup and how important they played a part as far as keeping the scene alive?
Okay, thanks to Kathy Freeman,
Liz
uh,
Strong.
Liz Storm. Thanks to them, I was able to realize, okay, where is the next event? Okay, it's going to be at Havana Village. Oh, it's going to be at Barking Dog. It's going to be at Cecilia. So I was plugged in thanks to them. And I can I just say, Kathy Freeman is such a beautiful person inside and out. I've been following her forever, but met her in person not too long ago, and I'm just such a fan of hers. She's so sweet. So sweet.
Her, Liz Strong, Liz Cruz, Mario, all four of the originators were very, very special people. And you already know Kathy and I are very, very good friends. So I don't want to name drop on the show, but yeah, she's cool.
You can't help it because they're part of our whole salsa scene.
Oh, at one time they were the most powerful promoters in the city.
Absolutely.
Okay. Everything ran through DC Salsa Meetup. When someone was struggling, all the promoters were fighting to get DC Salsa Meetup to sanction their event. That's just how it was.
Right.
They can't do it like that. So one of the reasons I noticed, Frederick is kind of far from DC, but I still in Baltimore, but I still notice that you sometimes get people from DC, you get people from Baltimore, Silver Spring to come out to your events. Now I kind of think it's because you're one of the rare promoters. You're like me. You go to everybody's event. Okay, so I think because you go to everybody's event and show love, I think people choose to be reciprocal because they say, "Dang, if Fredric Salsa can come all the way down here from Frederick, and she's been doing this for a while, I think maybe I could go up to Frederick." You know what I'm saying? I think it helps your scene in the fact that you go out and go to other people's events. You may not be doing it on purpose. It could be that just because you have an addiction and you're just going to go wherever the hell the damn music is. I don't know. Only you have to figure out that one. But
I know wherever Stuck on Salsa tells me to go.
Oh, yeah, right. You're crazy. No, I see a lot of Baltimore people come out to Frederick. And, that's good. And Allison needs to when they do get a chance, they go to other people's events, but they always got so much stuff going on. It's hard for them to get away.
Yeah, I do think that people come to Frederick for a couple of reasons. Yeah, I do go out to a lot of events over in Baltimore and in Virginia and in DC.
Mm-hmm.
I miss Whiskey Lounge, but the other thing is because Frederick is a tight knit community, you get that sense of family that you don't get in other major venues. Like I love TSR, but if you go to TSR, you don't feel like you're in a close knit community. And when you go to places like Frederick or like Ashburn in Virginia, you do get that sense of community. And so it's like that bar Cheers where everybody knows your name. That's kind of the thing that you get in Frederick or in other places that are similar.
Right. Yeah, I like it out there. The ladies are very friendly about me. There are a couple out there that are crazy about me, but we're not going to put them out there like that. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
As you said, everyone knows everyone. It's a family. Most dance scenes where they have several good dancers, it may not necessarily be that way. We all know life is cliquish, work is cliquish, but these dance scenes can be very cliquish as well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it makes a difference. It seems like, I don't know, the farther out away from the city, it seems like the friendlier the people are. But I don't know. What can
Yeah.
you do? You know, I don't judge anybody. If I'm not promoting, if I'm out in the and I'm not wearing a promoter's hat, I'm a dance snob myself. So I'm not going to point no fingers at anybody. But most of the time, I'm wearing a promoter hat. So I dance with any and everybody. I try not to dance with anybody that I even know. I'm looking for new people.
Yeah.
That's good right there.
Yeah. And that's a nice thing. That's good.
Yeah. So you've been going on 12 years. You have an event with three, and the next event you had, I didn't come to the next one, but they told me there were over 300 people when you had Edwin Ortiz, La Mafia, Iwan Cole out there. So it's like, obviously the people in Frederick are loving and feeling the live music out there. That's for sure.
That is definitely something that we love. Live music, Edwin, yes, definitely having him out there with his band and other bands as well that are local. It's just so great to be able to have that live music. And I think people really not just loved it, but embraced it, supported it. And so when we had live events, live band events, people really came out in droves and wanted to support and just have a blast.
Sure. Now let me ask you this, Frederick Salsa.
Yeah.
One of the reasons you and I have been dancing over 20 years, one of the reasons is because when we go out, let me give you for an example. I've known you for years. I never asked you what you did during the day. You know what? Because it was never important to me. I just wanted to know whether you wanted to dance, and I just wanted to know whether you could dance on beat, And so that's how it is when you're in the dance world. No one cares about where you work. No one cares about what kind of car you drive.
Right.
No one cares about your race. Nobody cares about anything else. But
Can you dance?
yeah, the attention that has been going on now. I'm seeing people on Facebook, and I want to ask you: is this happening to you? And I want you to be straight with me. Are you losing friends that were your friends in the dance scene because of their political views?
Me personally, no, but I do see that on Facebook. It's very hard to avoid people with very strong opinions, and I try, if unless somebody is promoting hate or violence, then I can tolerate everything else. So if we have different political views, I'm okay with that. And but yes, racism, violence, hate speech, that I'm not okay with. And I've been lucky so far. I haven't had to, lose friends over that. No.
Okay, I've seen people losing friends left and right. I have lost a couple of friends.
Yeah.
But my thing is not a lot, because my thing is I read people well. So if I've been dancing with you out in the club, if I'm dancing with you for a couple of years, even though we don't talk politics or whatever, I still pretty much can tell what kind of person that you are. Or they're doing a great job of hiding certain things because, again, all I really care is,
Yeah.
you know how to dance on beat, and then you want to dance to the song. So I don't really care about that. But I've lost. I mean, some people are they're just zealots about whatever they think, and sometimes it's not about black or white. It's more about wrong or right. Now, some things are just wrong, and some things are just right. Now that could have skipped past you on the dance floor, and you may have picked up on the person in social media. So I can understand how people are losing friends over this, but I'm trying not to let politics invade my fantasy world of dancing. But it happens. What can you do?
True.
Well,
Yeah.
it is what it is. So you've been doing events for 12 years, and we're going to touch on this COVID subject. You have still been having events all outside. You're not breaking any laws because Governor Hogan says Frederick Salsa and them can do this, the da 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 da, but they have to have, use safety
Mhm.
standards. They have to wear masks. They have to do 6 feet apart. Even though, in honesty, I ain't seen nobody at no damn party where each couple was dancing 6 feet apart. But I'm gonna leave that alone as well. But you know, it's a situation where it's people saying, "Well, Earl, you're not speaking up. You're not a leader. You're not." It's really not anything for me to say. It's not for me to judge anyone. I don't know what anyone has to do. I don't know what kind of bills people have coming in. People got kids in college. They got student loans and everything. People just can't stop working if they have a way to make some money. So I don't judge anyone. I don't point any finger at anybody because we all have different stories. You know what I'm saying? It's it's a touchy subject, but I see that you have been practicing and safety standards and all, and I commend you on that. So I don't knock anybody's groove. You want to go out and dance? We're all adults. If you want to go out dancing, go. If you want to have events, that's fine. I don't know what people have to do. So people say, yeah, I'm not a leader because I'm not speaking up on it. It's really none of my affair. I can only lead by example on what I do. I can't judge anybody. I have people, friends who've been doing things for years, and they're going to remain my friend. So sometimes you just got to mind your own business. That's my stand on that. And obviously, you're having parties, and so obviously it's fine with you as long as you're practicing those safety standards.
Um, yes, it is very important to practice safety standards, and yes, we've been having outdoor salsa, bachata events. We recently did have to cancel our kizomba, our outdoor kizomba event on the creek, and also our big Halloween bash, which we have every year. We did have to cancel that too. Both were outdoor events, but we felt that we needed to do our part in curbing the numbers because recently, as you've heard, there's been a spike in number of positive COVID cases in not in Frederick, but in neighboring cities and counties. And so we just want to play it safe right now. We don't want to endanger our dancers, our dance community. And so we're going to put it on pause for a little bit, even though there are outdoor events and even though we do try to practice safety measures so that people are wearing their masks, disinfecting hands. But we feel like right now, because there's a spike, we need to put it on pause. And so we're going to be on hold until things kind of normalize.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Yeah, it's a touchy subject. I try not to touch on it too much because, I just try to mind my own business. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me to say anything.
Yeah.
And more than likely, if I was in a situation and my legislation told me I could do these certain things, who knows? I may not. I don't know. I'm just not trying to judge anybody. That's all. I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody. You know, it's not for me to do that. And if I'm looked at as not being a leader because I'm not speaking up on it, okay, it's no big deal. Okay, so now I'm not a leader, all right, but you know what? I'm minding my business and I'm doing whatever I need to do to take care of myself. So that's how it is. People are going out. How are you going to tell people not to have events? And you go out in restaurants, the people are packed. People placing face, no mask, no nothing. At least the organizers are trying to do some safety precautions. At least they have an outdoor event. So, I don't understand. I don't, either everybody should be locked down or just do what you've been trying to say all along. This thing has gotten out of hand. We can't do anything about it. You guys knows what happens, and just go for it. You know, it's some crazy stuff. But anyway, do you think that once this is over, if ever over, that we'll go back to having large crowds? Or do you think the dance scene will suffer from it?
I think we're going to definitely suffer from it for a bit. There's always the people who just are okay with going out, whether it's an outdoor place or an enclosed place. But salsa venues can't survive on just that group
Right.
of people. So I think we're going to suffer a bit.
Right.
And but I think we'll come back. I think we'll come back from it. Maybe not this year, maybe not, January or February. But I think things eventually will normalize. It'll be a new normal, but
Right.
we'll probably be out there still wearing masks. I know that I'm okay with wearing a mask, even when it's not mandated. I still feel like maybe I can wear a mask to the grocery store dancing, or wherever it is.
Right.
I'm okay with that. I feel like I should try to protect myself and those around me. So I think we're going to have a new normal for sure.
I think if they come to, I think eventually the crowds will be bigger than ever. People always are dancing. You always hear this stupid stuff. Salsa's dying. Salsa's never dying. Salsa's never going to die. People are having parties every week dancing bachata and salsa right now as we speak. And it's not that it's just been a spark of people catching COVID. It's just that they're coming out. This stuff's been going on since March. So don't think now in October, all of a sudden, in 6 months, some people have it. And a lot of people are going out because they've already had it. And they think that they don't have to get it again. It's no big deal. They survived it. Okay? So, it is what it is. I stay home, but I have no problem with anybody doing whatever they need to do to feed their family. Okay? Because of COVID, the bills are still coming in. Hello? The bills are still coming in. Well, I want to tell somebody you can do that to try to survive. And it's not for me to say, Maybe if I was a younger man, I probably would be out there every week too. I don't know. I feel that for me dancing 25 years and for me to say I'm not going out dancing anymore, I say everybody should be able to do that, but it's just not that cut and dry, Earl. It's just not that cut and simple. So,
Right.
It's been enough about that crazy COVID stuff. We found out that you have 2 kids, and you went to school and came back, started a family. So I wanted to know is what do you do during the day? Do you have a real life during the day, or do you just dance salsa at home?
Okay, I have a job.
Yeah.
I work in a clinic, and I'm a case manager for a children's clinic for underinsured and non-insured children, and most fall under the poverty guidelines. So I'm working there.
Okay.
So during COVID times, I wasn't off of work. I was actually going into work.
Oh, okay. All right, so you have a salsa life and a real life. That's good. Well,
But I do still salsa all the time. Is if I'm going to the water cooler at work, I'm doing my turns.
right, you crazy, and you're a very good dancer as well. That's you always dance on beat. That's why I enjoy dancing with you.
Oh,
So
thank you.
you told me that you might have had a question or two you wanted to ask me. I'm here for you.
I'm curious as to how you got into promoting, because I know that you got into dancing going into Chelsea's and and Cecilia's. But how did you get into promoting?
Did I get into salsa promotion or promotion in general? I've been promoting parties ever since I was 16 years old. And all my ideas that I use in the black party scene, I just transferred over to the salsa scene. I mean, I was doing white parties back in 1980. So the white party is something that was just transferred from over there.
Right.
But if you want to know about salsa, I can tell you that. If you want to know about promotions in general, I can tell you. I would assume that you just mean salsa.
Actually, I want to know how you got into promoting at 16. That sounds very interesting in itself.
Well, I always could dance. Ever since I was 12, I always could dance. So, when you can dance, you're always popular with the ladies. The ladies just love you. It's just something. So I always knew a lot of people. I always tried to get to know as many people as I wanted to. So I went to a birthday party when I was like 12 years old, and this lady up the street from me, she had a party for her daughter, and there were like women everywhere, guys everywhere in this basement, and they were partying, and we had the time of our lives. I was jumping off the chair, doing splits and everything. And I was just like, this is what I want to do. I want to have some parties. So I grew up in a middle class neighborhood. So we actually had a backyard. It wasn't a tenement or anything. I had a long, long backyard. So at 16, I'm in high school at this time. I'm knowing everybody. I'm Go-Go Earl. I had a party in my backyard. We had about 150 people in my backyard partying. I was a promoter ever since. I've been a promoter ever since. The reason why I got into salsa promotion is I used to go to Zanzibar all the time, and my mentor, she taught me how to dance. She taught me about everything as far as salsa dance, and she introduced me to all the A-list people in the field. I met band members, everything.
Who was your mentor?
Eileen Torres. Mostly everything I've learned was from her.
Yeah.
And everything I've done has been copied off of her. Okay. She was bringing groups from out of town to Zanzibar. She was having women in salsa nights, men in salsa nights. Dancing with her allowed me to get introduced to other people in the scene, because if you were dancing with Eileen, who's the queen of salsa, you were cool. Everything I owe to Eileen, and I copied everything off of her. Okay. So when she was at Zanzibar, I'm like, I want to throw parties like this. But Zanzibar was only open on Wednesdays. Okay. So, but I had the bargain this time, so I wanted to party on the weekends as well. So I started going up to Philadelphia, and I met DJ Jose Rodriguez, Kelvin Harrison, and Rick Greenfield, and Go-Go Tanya. So we were going up to Philly for 5 years in a row on the weekend, every weekend, Friday or Saturday. And after 5 years, I'm like, this is kind of wearing out on me. I'm tired of going up to Philadelphia, Jersey. I want to have something going on in D.C. on the weekends. And so Kelvin and I started Stuck on Salsa in 2003. Our first event was in a Russian restaurant. It lasted 4 weeks because, of course, nobody was buying drinks. He wanted to try to sell Russian food and stuff, but it was right across the street from the White House. Okay, so that was our standard. And so we never had any place that was a shack or anything. We always had really nice places because we started out across the street from the White House. And we've been doing parties ever since.
Excellent. Excellent.
So there we go. That's it. I've met thousands and thousands of people. I've taught thousands and thousands of people how to dance. I've put smiles on thousands and thousands of people's faces, and we're still going strong. So that's how I got into that. So.
Excellent. Excellent. I think ever since I started dancing, your face is part of my earliest memories in the DMV salsa scene. So thank you for all the events, amazing events that you've put on through all these years. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the kind words. I think one day you and I had to get together and have a party somewhere. You know.
I think so. Yeah.
In between Frederick and DC, meet halfway. Yeah, Rockville or something like that.
There you go.
Right? Definitely. So we covered everything today, Sylvia. You were awesome as always. It was such a pleasure to talk with you. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy, hectic schedule. And also being frank with me on your thoughts on the COVID situation as well.
Absolutely.
I had a fabulous time. I want to toast to you again as we're about to sign off. You still have your wine with you?
I do.
Toast to you. Thank you so much, Fredric Salsa. Sylvia, what is your real, complete, full name? Everybody knows you as Fredric Salsa. What is your real name?
So my real full name is Silvia Zuniga Tupac Yupanqui. Tupac Yupanqui. That's actually a direct Inca last name. It's so I'm very proud of it.
Chibu!
Kayao.
Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.
This was fun. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.